it's live. You don't know what live is. Dad, welcome to Contemplations with Dad. It's a bright sunny day here in Denver, Colorado. Look at that sunshine. Ha! Mountains right behind us. 12 inches of snow. Minus 12 degrees Celsius. Well, now it's nice and balmy. 40 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about I don't know the conversion. But it's a gorgeous day. And Dad is here to dish out some wisdom. So let's go. Hi Dad, what do you have to tell us today?
What I have to tell you is essentially it is one topic and there is no other. Sa ekaha vigraho bahuda vadanti. And there is only one. And it's how you look at it, how at what altitude or perspective you look at it, how much minutely you look at it, or how into details you go. Once you look at it from a high enough perspective, you see that it encompasses everything. Then you come down to details in nitty-gritty. At every lower level, you find the same being replicated at a smaller scale. The universe, the solar system, the atom, the whatever you say, smaller things, the particle, the quark, everything is exactly the same. From another angle, it is all a question of wavelength, energy, etc.
Well, there's a saying by Nikola Tesla, right? If you want to think of the secret if you want to unleash the secrets of the universe, you have to think in terms of frequency, vibration, and wavelength. And this is something you have taught me as the essence of our religion, of Hinduism, right? This is all
Exactly.
I know as Hinduism, and we've never been overtly ritualistic, or we do all that as what is needed, but the essence of what our core principles of life is what you just said, right?
Exactly. Now, these things about the frequency, the vibration, our mind is the only relevant thing here. Our mind always vibrates. There is not a moment, even a fraction, it cannot remain without vibrating. Chanchalam hi mana, Krishna, Pramati, Balavadridam. This is what Arjuna says. Chanchalam manaha. The manas is always chanchalam, moving. At what frequency vibrates?
Says this way.
The mind of a person who is delirious, it vibrates frantically, and he feels everything, including the heat and cold and the sound and the everything, at a very much higher harshness. The mind of the yogi vibrates at a much slower pace. It's a very much controlled, subdued vibration, until you have people who are capable of completely stopping the vibration for periods of time. Those are the yogis. You know, the Ashtasiddhis you must have heard about. It is nothing out of this world. It is simply the same principle. You elevate your faculties, your capabilities, so that you get control of the ability to regulate your vibration, and that will enable you to control your heart rate, your metabolism,
Your physicality.
everything, physicality, and also now the ability to travel. Einstein has said, all scientists have said, you can travel time if you can adjust the relative speed.
I think again it harks back to the fundamental thing that we talked about that day is that we aren't yet at that level of understanding of the universe where we live on this physical plane and we are bounded by this physical plane. But once you understand the fabric, that what they call the matrix, right, the fabric, you know the nature of it. When you know the nature of it, then you can manipulate it, right?
Correct.
So to someone in this who's speaking in terms of words, in terms of the five senses, anything beyond those five senses is unimaginable, ununderstandable, right? But so when you understand that fabric of reality, then you can manipulate it.
The knowledge that this is there, this is the way it works, this is how it is done, is a theoretical knowledge. And there are the yogis who practice.
It's experiential.
They physically, mentally and spiritually, they train their bodies, minds and psyches to actually do that.
So this again goes back to what we were talking about. There's science and then there's technology. Science you can read from a textbook. But reading it from a textbook only increases your level of knowledge. It's still explaining things to you using words, using existing sensory perceptions. But then the technology is able to apply that science and use the science to manipulate the very laws of the universe, right? Or to utilize the laws of the universe, which is the science, to create things. That's what you do with physics, with chemistry. Your cell phone's a great example because you use the laws of physics, chemistry, thermodynamics, semiconductor devices, electronics, everything to create a technology which is useful, right? That's the same thing we are talking about, where there's scriptural knowledge, which is written in the books, which documents the fact that that knowledge exists in order to pass it on to someone else that wants to know. And then there is the practical application of that knowledge, which is the technology, which is what yoga is, right?
So all this knowledge, it's of various kinds, various aspects, each chapter and course and application. Different people can master different aspects of it, and when they master it, they can use it to get control over certain things and apply it. This is where the fundamentals are. Sanatana Dharma says there are 4 Purusharthas: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha.
Correct.
So what should you use it for? You want to use it for Dharma, Artha, Kama or Moksha.
Well, but those are again goes into the Purusharthas is the whole purpose of life, right? That it becomes more an explanation of the purpose of human life.
It is not disjointed from
it's not.
the basic
it's all the
science.
Same. It's all the same,
The basic science is so and so, so and so, and you can read about it. You can get an awareness of it. You get an understanding of it. You get a mastery of it. You get control of it. Various stages of your own development. To the person who has got complete mastery and control over things, what should he use the power for? You might have heard of the story of Trishanku.
I don't know.
Trishanku was a sage who had attained mastery over all these things. Then he challenged whoever, maybe Indra, maybe God, whatever name, it's irrelevant for me, that I want to come to heaven. And they said, no, you can't. You are not qualified. He says, hell, to hell with you, I'll make a heaven for myself. So Trishanku created a Swargam and he went there. It was parallel to Indra's Swargam and it was even more wonderful. Now these gods, they are jealous, so they said, you idiot, why do you come here? You are not wanted. They pushed him down. He fell down here.
So that actually raises another point, which is...
give me a minute to complete that sentence. So he did it again, he was pushed down again and again. Then ultimately, they agreed that, okay, you have got the capability, but don't come and trouble us. We'll give you a spot in the midst of the space where you will neither be troublesome to yourself nor to us. So they gave him a place where he made his own Swargam and stayed. That is called Trishanku Swargam, which is neither here nor there Swargam. Now this is an illustration of something where a person mastering all these things uses it for selfish aggrandizement,
So
to display his powers.
you're talking about the Ashtasiddhi, the use of the Ashtasiddhi.
Yeah. Ashtasiddhi is one aspect of all this control of the wavelengths
The
and
use
the power.
of the knowledge
So,
and the technology.
you are not supposed to use it for your selfishness. You are supposed to use it to attain the Purusharthas. Dharma means doing the good thing so that the world, loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Artha, you must earn plenty of money,
Artha
accumulate
is
wealth.
Meaning, right? To give
No. Artha is wealth in the form of anything: land, cattle, mansions, precious things, food. It's all artha, and use it for benefit of the population
That's
as
seva.
large. Kama is your personal aggrandizement to a certain extent. You must have a nice house and a nice car and a nice everything, nice clothes and jewelry, and moksha. Moksha is the ultimate, where you want only one thing, that is to be assimilated with the Godhead. So
either
if you use it for your personal only to elevate your ego, to aggrandize yourself, it is a wrong application of the capability, which is not sanctioned by, which is not approved by Sanatana Dharma. You have to use it for the public good. And the whole thing is one concept of power. And power is exactly the wavelength and the transmission and the speed and all that thing.
I
what
call
we
it,
count.
it's energy,
Energy.
not power.
So we have to look at it holistically.
Okay, I think we can. So today's talk was mostly about what? Let's give it a name, because we kind of went here and there.
Yeah.
So what did we talk about? Just to summarize.
Now there is another part of it which has to go in here. That is that the mind. We started with the mind. The mind is always pulsating, and it is by controlling it that you get all these things. And it is when you get hold of the mind and then roll it up into a complete small bundle and then eliminate the mind, then you have achieved the goal of everything. From then on, you are not bothered by anything, because you have assimilated yourself into yourself, and that is into Godhead. You see any of these great people, they
That
did
is
that.
achieving Purnatha.
Yeah.
Which is
So these names and etc.
are all the same.
Are invented by the Western
So there's
people who
so
are trying
in
to.
the Buddhists call it Shunyata, which is nothingness.
Yeah.
The Hindus call it Purnatha,
Yeah,
which is
completeness. It
You
is the
become a
other
part
end
of the
with
universe.
These are nomenclatures.
It's the same. Two sides of the same coin.
Namakarana and all are irrelevant when you want to know the
Exactly.
substance.
It's
So what I say is, you have to go at the substance, not into the nomenclature, description, and the division and the
I think,
comparison.
see, that again is trying to use the words or use the five senses to describe something, to maintain it as an intellectual discourse, rather than
it becomes only an intellectual discourse.
This is again scripture versus experience. It's like what the constant argument between the two Hindu philosophies, Advaita and Yoga.
Exactly.
Advaita is a very philosophical. It's philosophy, right?
Yeah.
You can go on discourse after discourse after discourse on Advaita versus Vishishta Advaita versus all Vedantas. Advaita, Vishishta Advaita, Dvaita. And it still is that discourse in this material plane of existence.
You are going on round churning words and phrases.
Then with yoga is just the practical application of that knowledge. It's the same thing.
So gather up all the words and this thing, put them in a dictionary, lock it up. You want the actual practice experience
So the reason
in yourself and inside your soul, and to gather up your soul and to assimilate with the Paramatma.
So I
That
think
is-
the chief reason why something like yoga is gaining so much popularity today, especially in the West, is because people can do it without. It's first of all a direct application,
yeah,
right? It's applying
Yes.
themselves. It's
Yes.
it's a practice.
yeah,
It's something practical. I'm not talking about hatha yoga. I'm talking about yoga philosophy in general,
yes,
right?
yeah,
The Hindu system of yoga is all about achieving that union, Purnatha,
yes,
which is what all the other Hindu systems are about also. But yoga is the actual practice. It's like how a Christian will go to church on Sunday and pray. That's his practice.
okay, okay, go on.
Muslim would do namaz 5 times a day, right?
Yeah,
So the practice to actually achieve that level, that Purnatha, right, is utilizing yoga,
Yeah.
the technology of yoga, right?
Yeah.
That's my understanding
Yes.
of it. Where
Yeah.
in practicing yoga, you are striving to achieve that oneness,
correct,
that Purnatha. That's my understanding of it.
correct. But that is not the only path. There
Correct.
are hundreds
No,
of
no,
paths.
but-
Everything leads to the one goal.
Correct. But then even yoga, you have got Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga,
Yes,
either Raja Yoga,
yes.
Karma Yoga.
All those are nomenclatures.
Those are all
and,
nomenclatures,
distinctions. You have to go beyond those. Nama, what's that? Name,
Nama
form,
Parikrama. Nama.
and go to the substance. That substance is what you have to aim for. If you start with aiming for the name or the form or the practice or difference, you get stuck and you will just be going round.
It becomes a level of semantics, and it still is.
Yeah.
You're stuck in theoretical
Yes,
didactics.
you'll be
not,
stuck.
You're not doing the practical.
Come, my
what
feet
is
are
practically
frozen.
needed.
Let's
Come,
move.
let's go. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
The
That
minus-
was nice to talk about.
minus 12 degrees is catching us, so we'll see you guys later. Bye.